We are live. Hi, Mara. Hi again.
Hey, hi, Ilze.
So I would like to just dive in, and I was thinking about our yesterday's conversation, and we started talking about coaching and then other stuff. But I realized that not many people know what coaching is, and also because there's a lot of conversation going on about coaching online. Um, I feel that people might be embarrassed to ask what coaching actually is.
Ah,
So
right.
they just, they sit there without answers. And maybe they think that it's something that, um, uh, is done like is something painful or how does it happen and all that. Would you like to share your perspective what coaching is and maybe what coaching with you is?
Sure. Yeah, thanks for that question. It's true. A lot of people think of coaching like athletic coaching or strategic planning or that sort of thing. But there's so many different modalities and ways people work, which is why it's such a cool industry to be in. I find my personal way of going about it is much more into the inner world of a person and your emotional realm, because I do have the psychology background, but I don't work as a therapist or a clinician. I really like to explore how people how people are experiencing what's going on in their life. You know, there's the events we have and then the way we experience it. And so I like to explore what their experience is. And if there's a place where they feel pain or confusion, or they want to understand better why they're in a situation, we go into how they're viewing what's happening in their life, how they feel about it, how they're overall experiencing it. And I work to help them shift their energy and their perspective and see that there's a broader sense of how they can experience what's happening for them. And I call that getting intimate with ourself. So we really get down to the smallest place we can and like see what's there in the most unseen place to let something new come out of that.
Okay, so and I'll pretend that I don't know what it is, and I'll ask maybe dumb questions
Okay.
based on what you just said. Like for instance, you use the word modalities. There are many modalities. So
Yeah.
yeah, explain me what those modalities. What does that mean?
Great question. There are no stupid questions, right? Because that is
Right?
a good
Yeah.
question. Just means different structures, different ways people have studied. I would say structure, you know, the way they set up how they work or their angle that they take with a person. Like there's specific types of business coaching, or we're going to use a lot of strategy, or there's hypnosis type structures where there it is again more in the inner realm, or physical, like people who take people out on adventure, physical body training, and then you go on adventures together, climbing mountains or skydiving and working through fears that way. So there's so many different ways to explore what a person wants to gain in their life.
Okay, so and let's say I have arrived at your office, or how do we even work together with you? What do we do?
Usually through, I usually work through referral. I do have a website up, maraleegilbert.com, and people can contact me through there. But I mostly work through word of mouth and referral. And I sit down with a person and we just have a conversation first before we do any work together. I want us to sit down and dive in deep together so I know what they're really looking for, and we can build from there and see if we're the right pair to move forward on a transformational journey together.
Mhm. So yeah, and I have a similar strategy. I have conversations with people first, and people don't pay me for those conversations because we want to figure out if we are a good match. So that's where we sounds like we work in a similar way. You didn't answer the question. Where do I arrive? Is it like, it's COVID time right now, or where are you
Oh,
located?
I see. Yeah. Right now I'm operating through the Zoom format. So it would
Yes.
be just like we're talking right now.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Although I do meet people who are in the location we go for walks. We do take walks and have
Yeah.
conversations like that if they live nearby. Right. Okay. So, and I come to you, and do I need to have a problem, or how do I show up, and what do I say to you?
A lot of people come with a specific thing they want to explore. For me, it's a lot around relationships and sexuality and how to deepen their connection there or their confidence there. But I also work in the spiritual realm, people who want to connect more to their spiritual self, have an expansive experience, understand how to walk with more trust in very uncertain times. And for me, that's this very spiritual place, and how to hone that sense of feeling grounded and guided and trusting. So sometimes there's a specific, here's what I want to work on, but sometimes I simply ask, what do you need support around? Or how can this conversation be extraordinary for you? And let the person sort of find, it always comes up, even if they think, oh, I don't know, it always bubbles up to the surface.
That's true. So it sounds like I don't need to know that what my problem is or what I want to work on. I just feel like Mara could be helpful, or I would like to explore
Yeah.
the world or myself
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's one way.
That sounds so much more secure. I don't need to know. I just go there. Of course, I'm a coach and I know the terminology and all that, but it's fun to play like this. And I
Yeah.
like the word that we use, create space. Coaches create space.
Yes.
Coaches create a safe space.
Yes.
And you are not, no, I mean, not you, but the clients, our clients are not forced to go places where they don't want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when they are not ready to go. Yeah. You mentioned that you mostly work on relationships and spiritual realm. Do I need to be in a relationship to work with you?
You do not have to be. You can be, but you certainly don't have to be.
Yeah. So, but if I have a partner, can we both work on our relationship under your guidance?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
But what if we go and tell you, Mara, Mara, we have a business together and we want your help in expanding our business. Is that something that you can help with, or you draw a line there? Because business also means relationships.
Yeah, I would say if we're going to look at your business together, I'm not going to, what I would help you with would not be about how to get from X level of income to Y level of income, but how you are relating to your business, what you want to be more connected to in your business, where do you feel like you can't get something done. We would always be looking at how you're experiencing and relating to it versus here's the strategy to make $1 million this year. That's not my area of expertise.
Mm-hmm. It's very interesting, and I actually shared this with you. I'll share also it again, and so maybe some people find it useful to hear that I have had people who come actually to me for help in business, and actually just what you said, how do I reach such and such turnover a month, like $1 million a month, or stuff like that. And when we start talking more and having deeper conversations and trying to figure out why that number is important for them, then we actually get shift to working on relationships, on other stuff. Yeah, and that's how I shifted from business to life.
Yeah, so cool.
It is.
Go ahead. I want to hear more.
I mean, yeah, it is very related, and not just for women, as people might think. Yes, men have started out by talking about business and business marketing or strategies or whatever, but actually we end up talking about deeper stuff, deeper personal stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's beautiful. And I think that you guys, if you are watching and think about maybe sometimes in the future working with Mara or you already feel that if there is that energy that makes you a little curious, and that you can reach out and we can discuss if we can schedule a conversation online or so. I, again, like yesterday, I don't want to make this conversation long because we're going to meet again tomorrow, but I have a question.
Okay.
Based on what we discussed yesterday. And I'd like to shift the subject if that's fine with you.
Yes, definitely.
Remember that at the end of our conversation, I mentioned you being an actress.
Yes.
And I noticed something, and this is what coaches do. We notice languages, how we use the language. And I noticed that you corrected me very gently by giving the answer where you said, yes, I am an actor.
Yes.
And I will talk about maybe more why I noticed that, but could you explore on that? Do you have anything to say about that?
Yes, absolutely. That's thank you so much for noticing and asking. So there is a lot of female actors now want the term to just be actor, because there's the sense of actress highlighting that you're a female. Therefore, there's a sense of potentially, it's related to the patriarchy, at least in America, where actress feels a little bit lower on the totem pole than actor. And we are all studying and working the same craft. You know, there isn't coach and coach-s, or scientist and scientist-s, doctor-s. So it's to say we're on the equal playing field, particularly in terms of getting paid, because there is still the women getting paid less across many industries in America, and it does happen a lot in the acting and entertainment industry. So to say we are walking on the as equals together, creating work as actors, and that's why you'll hear a lot of women say we're actors.
And thank you. I have an additional question about the word actor. When you say actor, does it sound like neutral, gender neutral, or masculine?
To me, I feel like it sounds gender neutral, but I do feel like it maintains a masculine identity in the culture.
Yes. So do you, I don't know, this is probably a stupid question. Do you believe in anything being gender neutral? Or anybody? I mean, anybody.
Do I believe in anybody being gender neutral? Do you mean in terms of
whatever however you decide to answer that?
I think it's an exciting time to explore what is masculine, what is feminine, especially in the transgendered community. There's many actors in the transgendered community that don't identify as male or female, and so there's an importance to say we don't want to put people in boxes or say you can only be male or you can only be female, and in particular exploring gender neutral lives on stage and on screen. And, you know, it bears the question in general, what is masculinity? What is femininity? I like to work a lot with that as well in my coaching, because there is a fluidity between both energies. It's not, doesn't mean man and woman, it's simply energy. And we both have both in us. And they inform each other and work together and enhance each other for an individual to be who they are. So I look at it that way.
Okay, it's very interesting because it's very different from where I come from, and I'll talk about that. One more question, because I got really curious. When you think about your identity, is it, and you just said that it's just energy, and you talked about neutrality, and you also said that transgender people feel that they don't belong to any gender, which I cannot quite agree with. I think that's why they transition.
Oh, well, can I clarify? I don't mean all, I don't mean all transgendered individuals.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah.
But there are a number that feel what they call non-binary or gender fluid. So there is...
yeah. Okay, yeah, that's what you meant. All right. Yeah. So it's interesting. It's really based on the culture, and why I noticed that is because, you know, when we develop as individuals, as humans, we really have this unique gift, the language. And our development is based on, you know, development of the language.
Yes.
And of course, I mentioned yesterday that I am a Latvian. And in the Latvian language, everything is either feminine or masculine. And there are several languages like that, but there are also, like Russian language, I understand the Russian as well, and they do have three genders. They have masculine, feminine, and neutral. In Latvian, there is no such thing as neutral. So I also, therefore, I think I identify very strongly as a female.
Yeah.
And my surname, Berzina, has a feminine ending, whereas my son, Berzins, has a masculine ending, S. Yes, and and often it happens that people know my son, and they address me as Miss Berzins. And I don't like it because I identify so strongly as a female.
Yes, yes.
And similarly, people who know me as Ilze Berzina, when they think about my son, they might misspell their surname if they had to do something in writing and spell it with the ending A, which would make him feminine, and he wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
In Latvia, we have two words. We have actieris and actrise. And you can already guess which is which. The second was the female actor. And I just know that in Latvia, if you addressed an actress as an actor, they would not like it. So that's very, very different culture-wise where we are coming from. And of course, we can, through communication, we can identify these things and understand each other better, understanding our backgrounds.
Yes, yes.
There are similar things. Yeah, there are similar things going on about race and skin color, which is very different how it's looked at because of where I come from. But that's probably is a discussion for another time. But I just thought that it was interesting to point it out. Do you have any questions that you want to ask me based on this or what we discussed yesterday?
I don't know so much of discussing it yesterday, but based where we are right now, how long have you been living in America? I've never actually asked you that.
Yeah, I moved permanently because I was traveling back and forth before years before, but I moved permanently at the beginning of 2013.
Okay.
Mhm. Yes. So it's 8 years. Well, in January, it will be 8 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And did you feel that there was, did you have to learn this beautiful way you already have in you, that you recognize differences and you want to understand the different ways people speak and how they came to view things? Did you find that was already in you when you moved, or was that a skill you realized being in such a different culture you had to gain?
Thank you for the question. Back in Latvia, I worked in the translation and interpreting business for many, many years. I actually own a translation company, and I've worked with people from many countries, nationalities, etc. And I've been watching and observing things like that often because I was in the middle of people trying to negotiate. Often when there were conversations, talks, politicians, business people trying to reach an agreement, and being not able to reach an agreement because of how they view the world. It's just it's often felt ridiculous because I also wanted them to reach that agreement, but they
Yeah.
wouldn't
Uh-huh.
because of these things. And that, of course, I had to be neutral to the clients, and I simply interpreted,
Yeah.
but I learned a lot. I learned a lot, and that helps me in coaching. I actually started studying business because I was more and more interested in the relationships in business. But as I studied business, I have an MBA degree. My MBA study was actually on the culture, how culture affects economy.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, that's I have been interested in these things and
Yeah.
watching because I have the linguist's background as my first education. The second is business. So yeah, it's not just random. It's many, many years of observations.
Beautiful. Yeah, I definitely feel that from speaking to you and reading some things you've written on in our group, where I see how language and how you want to examine it and pick it apart and explore the meanings in the words is so important to the work you do. And it is such a skill for a coach to notice those subtleties of, what does that word mean to the person and how do they experience that when they say that out loud? What's behind that? So that's such a powerful thing you bring to the table.
Thank you so much. I like to hear good words, of course, like everybody does. Oh, Mara, since we started talking about gender, and I kind of like took the lead today, but gender is very related to sexuality, which is your realm. How
Yeah,
about tomorrow we talk about sexuality
that
and you?
sounds good. Yeah, sounds good to me.
So I hope that we got everybody really, really interested in this, and join us tomorrow. Tomorrow we are meeting earlier, right?
At 11 a.m. Yep.
11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll sign off out from